everyone's burnt out, everyone's short-staffed, no one can keep employees, and so we're really just trying to figure out why.
We're an organic kind of community. We bridge off of, we feed off of other people's ideas and really trying to give a platform for people to communicate a much bigger message is really important to us. So thank you for being a part of that and being part of a movement to really make some change in our industry.
Like I said, my name is Brian and I am the chef and owner at Girard. We are a breakfast and lunch spot in Fishtown, not too far from here. Well, next month will be about 3 years that we've been open, and it has been quite the experience. We've really tried to change the landscape of the industry, at least in our four walls, and what that means for us and our employees. You know, if we're going to do this, it has to be different. We can't just open a restaurant and continue the lifestyle and the culture that is so draining and so toxic on everybody involved. 1 in 10 Americans in the country does work in the industry. It's one of the fastest and largest growing sectors in our economy. So when you really look at the fact that it is providing 10% of the jobs and it is growing, it is also 10% of the lowest paying jobs. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics most recently, in their most recent report, just said 7 of the 10 lowest paying jobs in the country are restaurant employees. And I think it's 4 out of the 7 are tipped restaurant workers. All of these things are very much tied together. We have low wages, we have long hours, high stress. You know, people are demanding much more than one person with 2 hands is capable of. Then we get down to the drug and alcohol, and you know, we see a pattern where all of these problems are continuing, they're perpetuating. It's very cyclical. And because of all these things, now we have high turnover because it's very hard to keep somebody employed in a job as enticing as what we're talking about. Because turnover is so high, burnout is also so high because you have to keep your doors open, and when somebody just doesn't show up, somebody else picks up the slack. And now before you know it, you're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week on a good week. And so cycles back around, and then you start back at the top, and so the cycle just continues. And this is how we've been operating for almost a century now. I remember sitting with our publicist, and he was like, I just got chills, this is gonna be huge. And we were like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, this isn't really that big of a deal. And he was like, no, this is massive. Like, people are gonna be talking about this. And we were really just out to provide a good place to work. This is our model, and I'm not asking you to sell it. I'm asking if you believe in it. And if you don't believe in it, this is not the job for you. I'm not trying to get you to buy into something that you don't want. I want to make sure that everyone that works for us is fully on board and that they fully support it. These are kind of our starting point, was to create a culture, create an open, safe, welcome space for everyone in the community to come together, break bread, that everybody is valued and everybody is welcome, and that's for our employees, that's for our guests. It's a very simple thing. We don't actually do anything other than treat people with respect. Creating a respectful, professional, fun, inclusive, educational, and stable workplace. Then creating and maintaining a cohesive, motivated team that's working together towards one goal as one team. You know, I think we have a multitude of issues with wage, childcare, health benefits. We're really just kind of starting to tackle the tip of the iceberg, and I think having events like this that Maria and Scott are putting together to bring people together, to have these resources like Brian's financial insight and you helping families, and you know, those are what we really need, is to come together as an industry, because one person can't do everything, and it is really, we're talking about culture change. This is not just one issue where, you know, oh, maybe it's just, you know, we have a higher percentage of this incident in this industry. It's almost epidemic, but there's definitely an overall need for change when I talk to people, and from coming to events here, just being at work every day. Everyone's burnt out, everyone's short-staffed, no one can keep employees, and so we're really just trying to figure out why. One of our main pillars at Girard is just maintaining quality of life in an industry that demands so much from us as individuals, and we are very committed to that, almost to a fault. But I have seen it work really well for us in an industry that I have struggled to thrive in for almost 15 years now. So I think if everybody works together and we all tap into each other's resources and knowledge, that we really could make some huge waves and definitely bring the change that we need.